Doing today? I'm here to show you a new knife. Now, it's going to look familiar to some of you because it's a new version of a knife we make. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what happens. And I want to give you a little bit of a sense of learning and motion through time. Those of you who've been with me since the beginning, you've seen a big learning curve out of me. You've seen a big evolution in time. For those of you who have just met me, and if you watch my old videos, you'll see a always frank and full of candor guy, but you'll see an evolution there. I want to talk a little bit about slip joints and what's happened to me personally as I've gone on the journey of kind of getting into slip joints and developing our ASK knife, which is my other company, American Service Knife. I want to talk to you a little bit about this version of this knife that's coming out. So there are a bunch of traditional shapes in the traditional slip joint pocket knife world, and there are plenty of companies doing that kind of knife making. And I find it, if you drop me in one of the old-fashioned knife making companies that's got like a big shaft with a bunch of wheels and all these people standing out there covered in dust making knives, like I can geek out on that shit forever. Super, super cool. Let me see what this is. Please show us a slip joint portraying. I can geek out on that stuff because I find all of that really cool. But as a business guy, it makes me want to punch myself in the dick because I'm like, all of that old-fashioned craftsmanship, that all the dust you breathe, all of those techniques, the modern world is not set up to replicate that stuff very well. So when I see guys doing a pretty good job at making old-fashioned knives, there's two possibilities. Either they've adapted new technology pretty well, or they have they've found some way, they've got a leadership skill set for hand craftsmanship. It's very hard. Put this into perspective. Let me give you a little perspective on this, okay? If it takes me 30 days to train somebody for their job in the shop, it means that's pretty scalable and I can expand that. It also means it's not a very deep, articulate job, and there's going to be more turnover as human beings until I find somebody who kind of likes kind of a no-brainer, kind of just like chill out kind of job, okay? That's not most people. And if it is a certain amount of people, it's a phase they're going through, and at some point they go, okay, well, I want a nicer car, I want a nicer house, I want to make more money, I want to be challenged, I want to be more excited and engaged on the job. Fine. If a job takes 30 days to train somebody, it's a job that's, you reach the intellectual end of it soon, and they're not good career jobs. So I have tried to focus my company on career jobs. The other end of the spectrum in the career jobs is craftsmanship jobs. And craftsmanship jobs may take months or years to be fully competent at. And it's very hard to have that be your core competency because that is not where the modern world is. The modern world is not in guys with dirty fingernails, handcraft, spend 2 years to learn how to do something. It's not where we're at. And so I'm going to tell you this little anecdote, and then I'm going to show you the knife, okay? So a lot of times when you hire a new person or you hire a young person, you are competing with the aspirations of their youth and their spouse. Most spouses don't want to say, oh, my husband comes home late from work every day with dirty hands and he always smells like a machine shop and he makes knives for some lunatic on the internet. They would rather say, he goes to a nice corporate Christmas party and they have these cool benefits and we've got this lifestyle and he's a manager. He's a senior manager at this company or that company or whatever. And he's working his way up the ladder. Now, some girls are kind of cool who, if they're not like career thoughtful, they don't create that paradigm. But I'm, for upwardly mobile, thoughtful young people, most girls are not satisfied with like a knuckle dragging craftsman man. And it's not That is not the main American landscape anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. It's been a long time since a bunch of guys with lunchboxes sitting on an I-beam 46 stories up was cool. Now, I kind of look for those folks, and that's part of my interview process. I ask them about what's their home life like, and kind of what are their aspirations, and I'm trying to see if they're a good fit, so that I don't mess up their life and hire them and find out their girlfriend or wife hates the job and is always nagging on them for them to go get a job at an insurance company and wear a clip-on tie. So I have a blend of these really cool craftsmanship jobs blended with technology, because that's the sweet spot where I can capture somebody and I can keep their brain involved and keep them intellectually stimulated and have them feel like they're not in a prison wanting to say, take this job and shove it, I don't want to work here anymore. So that's kind of the paradigm I shuffle around in. I'm pretty good at the whole visionary leadership of a company. So I find people, I connect them to the vision of the company, and then they become part of the zeitgeist of the building, and that seems to work out well for us. And then I've focused on technology and growth and an intellectual sort of making. And in doing that, it keeps people engaged at a craftsman, artisan level instead of at a production labor level. Now, this knife is so cool. When I drew it, I didn't know it would be this cool. And when we made it the first time, I didn't know the community. And it would be much like John DeLorean's car. John DeLorean made the DeLorean, and he didn't really know the sports car world well. And it was missing a whole bunch of things. In the end, it's collectible because of the movie and because it was quirky, but just didn't really get it. There have been people who went to make cars and they got their teeth kicked in. Shelby is not one of them. Ferrari is not one of them. The thing about jumping into other genres, and if you remember, Lamborghini made tractors and then went to make cars and did that transition pretty well. I've gone through this transition going from big frame lock kind of tactical style pocket knives to making elegant little slip joints and trying to maintain my line, my kind of legacy of what I do. So we made our first knife was the Gentleman Jack, the GJ1. And it is a great little knife, and there are a bunch of them on order we're making this year. But as I went through the ASK process, I learned about nuances in the slip joint community. And as I learned about those nuances, they're valid in so much as that's what the people in that community want. It's not necessarily about performance. But as I engage it, I see that there's something intrinsically satisfying about what they look for. And I didn't know that when I started. So my GJ1, and most people in the knife community, not the knife community, in the knife purchasing world, they don't know about any of this nuance. This is all for just people who geek out and fall in the rabbit hole talking about knives. So I'm geeking out talking about falling in the rabbit hole on knives a little bit, okay? It's kind of like being a guy that makes semi-automatic pistols and you decide your company's going to make a wheel gun, and except you've never gotten into wheel guns and you're not an aficionado, and you say, oh, it's pretty easy to make, and you make it. And it turns out there's a bunch of little nuances that community likes, but you don't know it until you're in the community. So I made the GJ1, and it was just this giant learning curve. And as I learned and met other people in the slip joint community, I started to talk with them kind of about what things that they look for, like, and love. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I can do that. And it doesn't change my designs. So it doesn't take away from me. It caters a little bit to them, but the end user most of the time doesn't amount to hill of beans either way. Ultimately, I made the change. I made this evolution, one, because I want these folks to like what I do. And even though I do a modern twist on it, and I do, Greg Medford's version, I want them to go, oh, it's got this cool stuff we love. He knows what he's doing. It's that. It's a little bit of bragging rights. And the other part is, I'm not a troglodyte. I don't have everything perfect, and I want to evolve and grow as a person. There's something satisfying about it as well. So the new knife, for those of you who remember my first knife, the GJ1, we have a new knife, almost the exact same proportions, called the GJ2. This is our Gentleman Jack 2 with clip. Now, I want to tell you some stuff about this knife. I want to show you how it works. So, again, you can see I'm about 45 degrees and it just jerks out of my hand and smacks shut. It doesn't use a kicker. It uses a stop pin down inside because I like precision stop technology. It is the biggest blade I have ever seen put in a handle of this size. This happens to be a Tonto. It's got what we call a waterfall nail nick. Now this knife on the clip, if you notice here, has a small waterfall nail nick on the clip. It's just a design sentiment element that will not be in the main knife. So I know some of you were going to kind of get on this. I'm not going to put that line on there. We decided we thought we'd try it out, and then we thought it amounted to a bit of distraction. So this will have a really cool hand script on here that says Gentleman Jack. You can get this in drop point or in Tonto, and God, I love it in fucking Tonto. The walk and talk is amazing. It's got a really cool, full-length spring on the back. It says made in the United States of America in kind of constitutional script. And I may do that same script here if it's pretty readable. Guys, there's something so pleasing about this knife. I want you to see the clip. The clip's got some really cool elements to it, okay? The clip's got a really nice tapered chamfer. I don't know if you can see that there. It's got a tapered chamfer around the back knuckle of this. I call it a pen style. It's tapered down at the end. Just an awesome little pocket clip. Now, if you want to carry this thing as a pocket anchor, totally cool. Pop the clip off, put a couple of little cap head screws you can get from anywhere on there, and fine. But I'm selling it with the clip. I think it's bitchin'. I just love it. I've been carrying this thing around, and the sound is so good. I know if you hear it, you'll. Everything about this knife makes a great sound going out. Fucking wicked sharp. Now, the only thing you'll notice is when this goes into production, this choil here is just a kitten hair longer. We put a elongated choil on there to pull the grind plunge line slightly away from the edge of the titanium handle. Titanium hardware, spacers, S45 VN steel. This is it says GJ24 up there. That just means Gentleman Jack, number 2, variation 2, and 4 is S45 VN. Just an awesome knife. There's a term for this when it's outside of here. I'm not gay enough to know all the terms quite yet, but it's kind of a traditional way this is configured. It's really a great size pocket knife. It's got kind of a cool little manly kind of tactical feel to it, even though it's a slip joint. So this is really, I don't know if you guys remember those Bud Light commercials where somebody wanted to watch bowling and somebody wanted to watch sumo wrestling, and they take the bottle and they hit the top of the TV and it slams together. Bowling sumo wrestlers bowling. This is kind of me trying to mash up old-fashioned and most modern and put it together. I think you guys, I don't know what to tell you about this knife. Now, if you want to order this knife, you go to medfordknife.com. It's on the home page. We're in the middle of some website development, so I can't fully develop the module for it, but I want people to be able to jump on this knife. You can find this at medfordknife.com. Just go to the main website. It's the featured product. When you jump in there, the home page has got the subordinate pictures down, tell you the details, and there's a bunch of options. So the way this works, I always make a batch of. So I made 10 of these. We're making 10 more with a couple little minor mods, but everything about them is really nice. When I say minor mods, I mean I elongated the choil a little bit. Pretty cool. I don't know when they're on the schedule for this year, but I actually think they're first quarter. So this is a unique opportunity to jump in on this knife knowing that in the first quarter of this year we'll be making this, which means you'll get them before the end of second quarter, because it takes time to work their way through finish, post-process, packaging, quality control, assembly, and all of that. That's not nothing. And there's a lot of other stuff in line out there. Just an amazing little knife. Now, I know guys are going to want to geek out on some details, so let me give you some details about it. Give me just a minute. I stabbed it into my desk. I was like, what's he up to? What's that fucking lunatic up to? That's me. Hey, on a side note, I don't know how many of you know Adam Lambert, who is the vocalist who competed on American Idol. You know, most of you know I don't watch TV. I'm a music guy, and I'm a music and a news guy. And I watched a documentary on Netflix about Adam Lambert and Queen. A little side note, just a little footnote, a little chatting with Greg, and I'll tell you about the knife. So the band Queen, I just loved, and I'm not the only one. It's one of the highest selling, globally dominating concert venue, stadium sellout bands of all time. And there's not too many bands who can sell out like they do, and they've been doing it the last few years. And for those of you who know, they did it with Adam Lambert. Now, Adam Lambert, he's an amazing vocalist, and he's a flamboyant Queen. No problem. Which was perfect for the band Queen, because Eddie Mercury was a flamboyant Queen who was an amazing vocalist. I watched the documentary, and I was a little bit of like, I only like Van Halen with David Lee Roth. I didn't like Van Halen with Sammy Hagar. Nothing against Sammy Hagar, but I was like, it's not really fucking Van Halen. Fuck off. And Queen was so amazing. And so anyways, I fell in the rabbit hole on YouTube listening to Adam Lambert sing, or I think that's his name, Adam Lambert. I don't know, whatever his name. He was so good, I was blown away. But he was a little too effeminate, a little too flamboyant for me. And grabs a dude and makes out with him on stage. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I don't need to see that shit. Whatever. And then they tell the story about how he and Queen kind of came together. And then I watched the performances of them. And I was kind of blown away. So on a side note, guys are always side chatting with about stuff going on in life. If you get a chance to see Queen with Adam Lambert singing and lead, I would not scoff at it. It was fantastic. And if I don't know, maybe it's outdated information and you guys all already know this, but if I hear they're coming to town, I'm definitely going to go, and I'll take my kids, because the guy is such an amazing performer and the songs are so great. Back to our regularly scheduled program now, knives. And on a subordinate side note, I wouldn't want anyone to think this isn't gay talk. This may be gay talk. Gays may like these kind of knives. So this is definitely some version of hetero talk, and it could be gay talk. I just don't know. So it may just be omni talk. It's just knife talk. So if there's any gays out there listening to the show, you're welcome to chime in. You just enter two numbers, 69. Just enter 69 and I'll know you're gay. Fine. And I'm happy to have you on board for the knife talk. Here we go. Let me tell you about the stock here. So the stock on the knife, it's exactly 125. The stock on the handles, oh my God, so weird. Exactly 129. Total knife thickness, 385. So there's some stacked because of spacers and washers, that kind of thing. Okay. The spacer on the back is 20 thou thicker. It's 135. It's 20 thou thicker than the blade, which leaves side for two custom phosphor bronze thrust-bearing washers on each side of the blade. So you've got two chassis scales, and then the back strap spring, and then you've got to have a blade floating in the middle of that, and then we've sandwiched that in between two phosphor bronze washers in here, okay? We really were going for a solid 90%, 90-degree half stop, a solid close, and a solid open. I've learned an awful lot about the geometry and structure of this from doing the ASK project. And then the clip on it is, let me tell you the thickness on the clip material. All right, the thickness on the clip material is also 125. So it is a 125 thick material construction. Let's talk about the length of the blade. I know you guys want to know that. And technically, my understanding is legally the most stringent measuring in the world is from the front to the tip. So that's how I'm going to measure it. From the front of the handle to the tip, I'm measuring with the ID jaws, not the OD jaws. Our exact measurement on that is 3.05 inches. So just a kitten hair over 3 inches. 3 inches and a 16th, approximately. When it's fully closed, the length is full length, including backstrap and breaker, is 4 inches. Total width in the closed position is 0.93 or 0.94. So say 0.95 inches. 0.95 inches. And that'll kind of cover it. So it's less than an inch wide. Total length when open. I know somebody's going to ask me that. And let me see if I just have a ruler sitting super duper handy. And of course I don't, but you know what? We can do some math. We had 4 inches. Just give me a moment here, sports fans. So it's 7.05 inches total open length. 7.05 inches. Okay? Weight, it's hard for me to, I don't have something here to measure it with, but I will tell you it's all titanium except for the blade. The blade's got a really cool hollow grind, combo grind on it. When we get to making lots of these, they're going to be flat ground, flat ground. I want to put a little extra steel there and make them tough. So it'll be a taper ground or flat ground knife. We will also do a drop point version of this, which will be a hollow ground knife. So we're really trying to give you guys a kind of tough utilitarian and a little more traditional style of drop point bellied blade here, okay? Super cool knife. I'm enjoying carrying this so much, and I've really gotten into these small, elegant pocket knives as time has gone by. I love my big knives. I just find I'm not going to them quite as much as I used to. I got a couple different vehicles I get in and out of. Sometimes they gouge the steering wheel on one of mine. I'm in and out of some professional office buildings more than I used to be, and I was doing political stuff. So while I'm being filmed or I'm public speaking, to have this like big clip hanging on the outside of my pants, I thought I would dial that back just a little bit. These first batch, they're going to be some, when you see this combo grind, you'll know it's hand ground. And then we're working on doing some production combo grinding. That's going to be one of our onboarding projects this year. So it'll either be flat ground or hollow ground. It'll be absolutely bitching. If you want hollow ground, 100%. The answer is I don't want to actually tie myself down. It's either going to be flat ground or hollow ground. It's going to be fucking beautiful. Okay. If you get one of the original Gentleman Jacks, number 1, those are all the hollow ground drop point. If you get one of these new ones, we're going to be doing some options on the blades, so they're going to be great fun. So you can order a Tonto or you can order a drop point. The drop point in all likelihood is going to be a hollow ground blade. But if I make it and I just feel like I just want it a little tougher, just because after playing with it, I feel like it feels too flimsy, then I'll go to the flat ground for sure, okay? So that's up to me. Oh, Greg, I want this and I want that. Well, okay, that's fine, but this is part of the deal when you get in on the early development of something is I say, well, I did it this way and I didn't like that. I like this better, and I got a little experience doing this, and this is how we're doing it. So you can get a Tonto or a hollow ground drop point. And if the hollow ground drop point I feel is too flimsy and it's going to cause me tip breakage issues over time, then I will do it flat ground to put a little more strength out in that tip and just deal with it. Really cool knife. I hope you guys dig it. It is called the Gentleman Jack 2. the GJ2. Go to medfordknife.com. It is featured on the top page. And there is something so aggressive and sexy about this knife that it just is driving me crazy. I just love the way the blade looks. And I think we're going to sell a lot of Tontos. It's funny, you know, I'm going to bring this into this traditional genre. I'm going to bring this modern twist into the traditional genre. And I think it's going to do really well. And why do I think it's going to do really well? Is it because of market research, Greg? Is that why you think that? No, it's not because of market research. Greg, is it because you think you know better than everybody else? No. Well, I mean, I do. I feel like that way a lot of times. But no. Greg, is it because you think your brand is awesome? No. I'm going to tell you why. In the same way, I can look at a woman and I go, oh, she's beautiful. Yeah, she's good looking. Like, I don't need to take a poll. I mean, just one poll. My poll. And my poll says, I get a little tickle in my balls with this knife. This knife has got a little tickle in my balls feel to it. It's gentlemanly and old-fashioned and modern and aggressive all at the same time. It reminds me of a Mako shark. My take on things. That's my take on the GJ2. If you order one from this date forward, you will be getting that. If it was up to me, I would fulfill every order with the new version, but there's stuff in process and that's the way it goes. I hope you guys really super cool knife. I love the way it feels. And let me see if I can show you how it is in the pocket. I can't see that. Can you guys see that? There we go. It is cool, and that's what I specialize in. Now, I specialize in cool. I like cool stuff. Oh, okay. Can I give you guys another referral for something? I don't know what you have going on this weekend. I don't know what you have going on this Christmas break coming up. I'm going to take my boy. We're going to do a little sailing. We're going to spear some fish. I think we're going to get some flippers on, and we're going to do some underwater fishing. Let's see what I got here. I think he's going to learn to sail, so I'm excited about that. And then next year, Roxanne and I are going to probably head off to Europe and do something together, little father-daughter trip. Trying to, Jeff's got a great phrase. He says, spend money on experiences, not things. So I'm trying to do some really cool stuff with the kids before they've flown the coop completely. And then Amy, she's doing what she's doing. She's got the kind of real traditional around the home thing going on, which is cool. I like a little adventure. So I'm going to take the kids out and do a little adventure with them. And I'm not just going away. I'm actually meeting family out. I'm meeting some cousins and in-laws outside the country. We're going to go do this fishing thing. Should be fun. Now, I want to give you guys a recommendation, and I want to talk about this just for a second, okay? Sylvester Stallone. Now, Sly, he has been, everyone's made fun of Sly at some point. Everybody who's done stand-up comedy has done his voice a little bit, and he has just come through for a half century. And here's what I mean. Stallone has been doing cool. He defined cool and has been doing cool before anybody. He's been so cool. He has set trends in watches with Panerai. He set trends in custom cars with Judge and motorcycles with Judge Dredd and with his Expendables series and the cool things that he has done in his life and stuff that he's put into his movies, his cars and his trucks and his boots and his there is so much stuff that Stallone has done that is super cool. And I want to talk about his latest project, which I am enjoying so much. If you guys get a chance, watch Tulsa King. It is fucking fantastic. It is hard-ass, back east hard-ass 101. And Stallone does a sensitive and fun, badass job at it. And I only wish he was 10 years younger so I'd get another decade with him. I hope he does 5, 10 seasons of this. He's old. I think Stallone's 78. He looks fucking fantastic. Whatever manly cocktail of elephant semen and testosterone. I wish Stallone carried a 187. Whatever he's doing, I don't know if he's doing HGH and semaglutides and testosterone, whatever he is on, I want the Sylvester Stallone cocktail because he's still yoked. He looks fantastic. And if I'm 78 and look like him, I mean, minus the, he doesn't, of course, have this beautiful head, this cranium, which is meant, like, God took away my hair because God wanted people to see this gourd. This shape of head should not be under a bunch of hair. He's got hair, and I don't know if it's wig or Hollywood. I don't know why famous people all have perfect hair, because they get famous when they're young, and how do they not lose? Like Brad Pitt, how has he not lost his hair? How has Tom Cruise not lost his hair? Is it semen? Do they have elephant semen in them? What is it? Is it just, I don't know. There's something going on. Stallone, though, cooler than all those motherfuckers put together. They only wish they had the cool that's in his right hand. If you get a chance, watch Tulsa King. It's fucking fantastic. It's about an old mob enforcer who gets out of prison after 25 years, and they don't want him in New York, and they outcast him to Tulsa. They send him out to Tulsa to start up a gang, a Cosa Nostra operation out there. And it's fantastic. And it doesn't even start slow. It starts great. A lot of series, it takes 4 or 5 episodes to kind of warm you up. This one here gets going in the first episode, and I think we're in the 4th or 5th episode, and he just stomped somebody's fucking face in. It was fantastic. So, listen, go to medfordknife.com, right on the homepage, check out our Gentleman Jackknives. And if you miss my politics, if you miss my rants, if you miss my political rage and my angry Americanness, go to iTunes, Spotify, or Rumble. Just do a little search for The Greg Medford Show. You'll see my podcast there. I talked to Carrie Lake, the gal who ran for governor here in Arizona, and there's a bunch of litigation right now. I talked to Blake Masters. I talked to Jim Lehman. I talked to everybody who ran for anything here in Arizona, several U.S. congressmen. It's been an interesting year, and I've gotten to learn a lot behind the scenes. That's pretty shocking. Plenty of insights there and things I can't talk about on YouTube because they delete me. We got a lot of neat things going on. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. I've got one more day in the shop. I'll shoot a video tomorrow. I want to thank you all. Spend time with your family. Hug the people you love. Hug somebody you don't love and make their day. Have a great holiday, and I'll see you a little bit tomorrow, and then I'll see you after the new year. We basically shut the factory down for the entire week, Christmas, New Year this year, and the shop did an awesome job, made great numbers. Everybody on the team did really, really well. So we just shut it down, and it's an expensive thing to do, you guys, to shut a factory like this down for a quarter of a month. You don't even want to know the numbers. Like when I knew them, I was like, don't tell me that. I don't want to know that. And we are just trying to improve the quality of life, and I'm trying to, do those things and exemplify those things and give those things as best I can to the team that's here. And live well doing it well, I guess. And I'm a little foul-mouthed, I know. I'm not really sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I know people get mad at me because I say things like queer bait or that guy's a homo or whatever. It's never anything pejorative. I almost shouldn't do that because when I'm saying that about somebody, that's actually a knock on gay people, So, and I thought about this kid, Adam Lambert, getting picked up and rock banding it with Queen, and watched him step into Freddie Mercury's spot in the international stage is a big deal. And I kind of know what that's like, being in over your head sometimes. And so I guess a shout out to all the LGBTQI plus one fucking spectrum of human oddness. I appreciate you watching the show. I apparently have a huge gay audience that watches this show. They call me the bear of the knife world. Did you guys know this? It's a gay thing. They said I'm a big knife bear. It was not what's the guy's name who makes that knife? Todd, or he was in the knife business for a while. I don't know if he's still in the business. Not Todd Begg, but his brother Mark. Mark Begg said I was a bear. He said, Craig, you're just a bear. He says all the gays love you. So I think I have a gay fan club, and I know I have some lesbians who hit me up all the time talking about things. So I feel like I've got gays and lesbians that I'm talking to with here. And I appreciate you being here. I saw some gays and lesbians today, actually. When I was out having lunch at this really trendy little spot, there was a bunch of gays and lesbians around. They saw me and they're like, oh, it's my uncle. That's my Uncle John from Christmas. Jesus, Christmas. Another guy I got to talk to like him. But I talk to the gays. They like talking to me. I always hand out my cards to the gays. And then they come on and they're like, why did you hand me your card? I'm like, I seem like a nice guy. And they're like, oh. And then I get all these side emails from, which is kind of fun. So apparently I have a growing gay fan club. I don't know if it's LGBTQI+, whatever it is, LNOP. But for those of you who aren't gay, I'm speaking to you also. Be nice to the gays in your life, okay? They got a really tough road. Besides what they do personally, having to deal with it, be in hiding, it's awful. So for so many of you who say, Greg, thank you for saying out loud what I can't say at work because I'll get in trouble. It's kind of like that. A lot of them live quietly, they're afraid, and they're not being their true selves all the time. And over time, it's oppressive to not be our true selves. Now me, I am not oppressed. I am my true self all the time. And I pay a price for it. It ain't free, but it feels good. I'm okay with it. I think we should all just take a moment while they're all freaking out and doing what they do, here and there. Stuff happens in nightclubs and people get killed and awful things happen, and we should be aware of that. So you're going to be around your gay cousin at Christmas. Be loving and sweet with them, and you probably already are. Everybody thinks, I have some gays in my family. I'm always super sweet to them. I'm their fave because I'm like totally comfortable with the fact that they're gay. I don't care. At least I think I'm their fave. They act like I'm their fave. I had friends that all died from AIDS when that was happening. It doesn't happen as much anymore. And I've had friends I've encouraged to come out of the closet. When they came out of the closet, I was there saying, anybody has a problem, you're fucking dead to me. And I guess this thing with Adam Lambert kind of hit me. Seeing him kind of go through what he went through. It's not like a new self-awareness. I get it, because I've encouraged friends to come out of the closet before and kind of stood up for him when it happened. But you kind of forget that's going on, because I have no vitriol towards people of alternative lifestyles. I have no vitriol towards them, because I have an alternative lifestyle. My lifestyle is alternative. It's the fuck you and leave me alone lifestyle. And it is alternative as hell. I couldn't stay married because of it. I'm too much. According to young people, I'm extra. Whatever that means. I'm extra. So listen, thanks for being here. Have a fantastic Christmas. Give a gay person a kiss right on the cheek. Thank him for having their green hair and wearing high heels, size 18. Tell them that pumps and Adam's apples go together really well. And make them feel welcome in this world, because we're all so goddamn unique and we're also goddamn the same. We just want to be loved. We want to be who we are, be true to ourselves, and we want to be loved by the people around us. Them too. Now, if you shave your head, wear a mustache, dress cross, and steal fucking women's luggage so that you can wear their underwear and post pictures of yourself on Instagram, you're a fucking nutter. I don't care if you're gay, straight, trans, or you're just faking it, you're fucking batshit cuckoo ka-choo. And whoever hired that guy for the nuclear waste department, or whoever that, what the fuck are you people thinking? And that's my bumper sticker for the day. What the fuck are you people thinking? Merry Christmas. Yippee-ki-yay, I am out.